authentic like Mitchell and Ness jerseys. Like James, you're not worthy to step up and speak. I'm rather unique like AZ when I catch on the beat. It's been a long time coming, but I'm ready to speak. I done been through hell and back with friends I helped develop. Slowed down my process, so I locked under pressure. Thankful for my opportunity I was given, but since then I'm on the urge to give uppercuts. God damn, loyalty don't exist no more. Got stabbed in the back plenty of times this year for sure, but I'm still making money, still spitting these flows. So it don't really matter if you like me, but yo, I just stick to the script. You can suck dick, I spit it how I live, living in full effect, kid. I'm getting it every day, I'm spitting it every way. I do this for my kid until I see him, I pray. Lord, please help me forgive them. All I try to do is help these youngins win. Messing around is slip, but you live and learn. This is the story on my bridges burn. Just help me forgive them. All I try to do is help these youngins win. Mess around and slip, but you live and learn. This is the story of my bridges burn. This is the story of my bridges burn.
So now I returned. Welcome to season 2 of the Mike Cook Guys radio show, or podcast as some of you kids would say. It's been long overdue. First off, this track has been produced by a good close friend of mine, Carlos Quarles, aka Pretty Tone Los. If you got SoundCloud, add him on Facebook. The name of the track is called Burning Bridges. If you would like to request a copy of the MP3, please let me know for serious inquiries. You'll notice a lot of his tracks will be playing on my podcast for the simple reasons that YouTube does not want me to play, for some reason, the usual production music that I've been choosing. And I think that's crazy, because while you have everyone else posting their stuff with no problems, I tried to make a post, my video gets blocked, my video gets banned. Technically season 2 was supposed to have been done a couple of weeks ago, but it is what it is. I was able to get the music that I needed provided, so it's good to know people in high places. So, people have been wondering what I've been up to, where have I been, what's been going on. Well, for starters, I'm single again. As of this past summer, me and my better half could not get along with each other, and it was at the point to where I was living in denial, because when you're that sucked up in being in love, you don't really pay attention to the put downs and so much disrespect. And then when you finally put your foot down and say, hey, that's not what I'm about, I'm not that person, I'm tired of being compared to what was in your past, then all of a sudden they want to play victim. And you feel like that's your fault. And in the beginning, you kind of take that blame, and it eats at you because you're going through this depression. I mean, you know it's bad if I don't watch wrestling for a month. That's how depressed I was about the whole situation. But it is what it is. But it was so bad to where the end of July, I don't know what was going on. I was thinking about just packing my bags and getting out of Beaufort, leaving my job, leaving my lifestyle, leaving everything, because there was too much in this town that reminded me of me and her, so it was horrible. At the same time, you're trying to find a rebound to help get you out of that situation. But then that rebound wants to get like super obsessive and, you know, want to take control of everything, and then wants to question everything you do or ask, who's that person? Who's this person on Facebook? Why did this person message you? Last I checked, I'm not committed to you. But that's how you Filipino women are sometimes. No offense to all of them. We know you're all not the same. But about 75% of you guys, I really have to wonder, and I thought I was a very selfish and omnipotent person, but I lied. So, it was the first week of August, before I had to go back to work. I decided I was going to take my crazy ass on a road trip. So, for 3 days, I was in 5 different cities in North Carolina. Now, mind you, my sister lives in Kinston, and while I pretty much laid my head to rest there, it was like one day I was in Goldsboro, then the next day I was in Havelock visiting Carlos, which, like I said, the guy who produces the music for this podcast. And there was one day I was in Charlotte, then there was one day I was in Raleigh, and I was just, I had to do a lot of deep soul searching because of what was going on. And it's even to the point I even thinking about long-term moving to North Carolina, technically either Charlotte or Raleigh, just so I can get out of this town. There's too much in this town. There's no growth for me as a person, whether it's job-wise or relationship-wise. I mean, let's face it, there's no good women here. And the good women that are here, they either have high standards with low self-esteem, they want a military guy, or they just want a guy with a lot of money, or just some super hot guy with a fat paycheck and a fat ding dong. Well, you're not going to find all three of those at once and expect the guy to be faithful at the same time. It's not going to happen. I don't care what any of you women say. If you think that's going to happen, you need to quit watching movies on the Lifetime channel. I mean, let's just face it. Some of you women want a guy like 50 Shades of Grey, but you end up with the fuckboy next door. You bad, but it's the truth. So anywho, I'm pretty much in North Carolina, just driving. Don't even know where I'm going half of the time. Even though I had a GPS, I just wanted to just see something different. I just needed something to get my head away from where I was at before. Did it work? Yeah, for a short-term usage. And it was just so painful inside. When I got back to work, it was a lot different. For those who don't know, I'm pretty much a computer technician and testing coordinator at a job, which is a school for grades pre-K to 8. So a lot of these kids, they can relate to me because, one, I was a student at that school, and two, I'm pretty much there to listen, and because of that, I get more respected than the teachers do. And that's not my fault, but it is what it is. But a lot of them kind of figured out what was going on. And when they asked about, my ex, are you guys still together? I said no. And they're like, why? And it's too much to explain because at that time, you want to hold back how you really feel. So you figure what's going on, it can't get any more suck-ass than what it does. Summer semester of school was pretty bad. I dropped down to like C's in my classes, which is not like me. It pretty much killed my 4.0 GPA. That's not cool. So that next semester in fall, I was pretty much busting my butt and made all A's once again, and that wasn't easy. That was no easy task. And I was pretty much pushing my body, just pushing, going to the gym, going to school, just so I can get back that motivation I had, before I even got in that long relationship. And, I'm not even going to say that I want those 2 years that I put in back. That's just a lesson learned. Maybe all women are the same. Maybe they're not. Until I find someone who proves me differently, I'm still going back to that theory. So, as I'm pretty much trying to get back to how things were normally, the semester was over. Mind you, it was done on a Thursday. That following Tuesday, I was having like really bad back pains, and I didn't know what was up. It was just hurting. So then I'm just thinking, okay, maybe it's just a back injury from last week. You know, it ain't too bad. By the time it was Thursday, my back was warm. I kept getting fevers, and I'm like wondering what's going on. And I'm also getting these chills at work while I'm sitting in my office. So I'm thinking maybe I got a cold from one of the kids because, mind you, there's like 80 kids in my face every day. Hey, Mr. Cook, how's it going? When half of the time I don't feel like being bothered by them, but you never know what those kids' situations are. So sometimes a hello can mean a whole lot. So I decided that Friday when I was passed out on the Spanish teacher's table in the middle of a conversation, okay, maybe I should go see a doctor. So I went that Saturday evening, and the doctor like felt my back, looked at the giant lump that was at the bottom of it, and the first thing he said was, "Sir, you have a staph infection." And I looked at him like, "Really?" And I said, "Well, it's a good thing I came today because I was going to wait till Monday after work." And he looked at me and said, "Your infection right now is so bad that if you were to wait until Monday, you would most likely be dead." Because mind you, it was in my lower back, like literally right at the ass crack area. Which is, it's funny to say, but it's all but funny what I was enduring because it was at the point where I couldn't sit down. I was having trouble doing everything. So that next day, which was a Sunday, they did the actual procedure. Now, for those listening, I'm going to let you know now, this is not for the squeamish. So as I'm laying on this, bed and I'm pretty much getting ready, the guy pretty much tells me, take a deep breath. Now, mind you, he told me that day, yesterday, he was going to freeze it and then cut and drain it. That didn't happen. Next thing you know it, I see these 3 long needle syringes. And I'm like, okay, what is he going to do? And he said, "Sir, we're going to give you an epidural." And those 3 long needles, mind you, this is a man doing this, and he had hands that were pretty hefty. He just pretty much stabbed it right in my lower back. And it was painful because you can feel that needle going in, and yeah, he's shooting that stuff to numb it up, but he was going like 1 needle, 2 needles. Then the 3rd needle, I was hurting. I was in tears because it was that painful. And then I'm looking at that knife where he was going to do the incision. And mind you, I'm looking at the corner of my eye. And the way that he was like moving his arm back and forth to cut and drain it, I wanted to say, dude, my back is not a steak for you to cut that way. So I don't know what he was doing, but he drained it. He mentioned it was a lot of blood, a lot of pus, and it was so much to where when I got up, the table itself was in like a puddle of blood because it was so much of that infection, and it was pumping antibiotics, and then they were doing this thing called antibiotic packing. And this was my introduction to another world of pain where pretty much for every other day they would change it out. They're like pulling it out, and then the way they were putting it back in, the new set, was worse because you have pretty much bit by bit by bit being cut and pushed in, and it hurts because it's burning in your lower back, and the whole time it's just doing that, and you're holding on to the pillows, you're biting down because it is hurting. There's not enough pain medicine or Percocet in the world that could stop that type of pain because it was hurting so much. You cannot block out something like that. No expert can block that out. So for a week, I was homebound. I couldn't do anything. So the whole time that I was homebound, bedridden, I just couldn't help but hate the whole world. Because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, what did I do to deserve something like this? What did I do in this world to endure so much pain like what I'm going through? I couldn't even sleep. I'm laying on my side hurting, and I'm just laying there and I'm just thinking. And at the same time, the main person I was hating the most was my ex, because I felt like she screwed me over. She took away my livelihood, and she's just pretty much living her life. And I'm going to say this for the record. I'm going to shoot the gun on what I'm going to say. Yes, I think you cheated on me for that boy who's like 18 years old. I mean, pretty much everything that was going on, the facts didn't lie. You can deny it all you want. You pretty much gave open clues. All because he reminded you of your ex-husband, because that's the type of guy you want. So there you go. You're 41 years old, and the guy is old enough to be your son. You complain about being ashamed being with a guy my age, or the fact that I was maybe darker than what you're used to being around, or maybe the fact that I was everything that you didn't want in life, but treated you better than what your interests were. So that did make me wonder in the back of my mind. And it's once again those feelings of not feeling good enough was happening, because everyone made you, whether it's your past or your present, you always have that feeling that you're not good enough. And it adds to that complex, and that complex eats at you. And that's what I was going through, that new complex that I didn't want. Nobody should feel that way. But the weird part is, when I recovered from it, I became a different person. And mentally, I've not been the same. To this day, I don't think I have recovered mentally from something like that. To where I've been a lot more open, I've been a lot more offensive, I've been a lot more bitter, I've been a lot more hateful. But most people wouldn't notice it until something happens that would trigger it. Then all of a sudden we're like, everybody's in shock. We would never expect this guy to do this. And that's kind of scary, because there have been people who I've lashed out to that didn't deserve it, which probably could have been things that built up to where they did deserve it, but not during that time frame. Do I regret it? Of course not, because I feel better when it comes out. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, except worse. And most people are like, well, Mike, maybe you should go see a specialist. I hate to say this. Maybe this is just me. This is just my theory. There's not enough degrees in the world for a specialist to figure out how fucked up I am in the head. And there's no way that that same specialist could fix it. There's not enough medication in the world that could fix what goes on in my head. I'm just very discreet and hidden about it, because I don't want people to know, and I don't want the attention. Thus, me doing the podcast. Moving on. Times have gotten better. Recently saw someone who might be of an interest. I don't think so personally. I mean, it's one of those things you want to happen, but it's kind of like, I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm not wishing it, and I'm not hoping it either, because one of the things that I said to myself, and when I finally got over what happened this past summer, I will never, ever let my guard down again in terms of falling in love and wanting to be with someone, because that was a different type of pain, and nobody should ever deal with that type of pain. And I get tired of people saying, oh, you'll find the right one, you'll find love, there's someone for everyone. Well, most likely those same people that are saying that are in a relationship, happily married, who's most likely their partner's cheating on them and doing them wrong behind their backs, but they're denying it because they're living the happy life financially. You're just as big as an idiot. But theoretically speaking, that's just my opinion. Anyways, as interesting as an episode that's going to be, there's going to be more upcoming episodes. My goal is to try to get something done every week, especially now that I'm doing this little winter break. We're going to get as much stuff pushed in. I'm going to be traveling, doing these episodes with various other people. I want to make season 2 pretty much better than season 1, and I want to get more involved. I want to do more episodes with different people. I want to know their opinions. I want to know everything. I want to pick at their brains. I want them to pick at mine. I want to shoot the shit and have a good time doing it. So, look at this as the first chapter of the second book of the Mike Cook Guys podcast, and how interesting it's going to be, how fun it's going to be, And of course, there's going to be music provided by Carlos. I mean, this is just the beginning. It's a way of him getting noticed, and it's a way of helping me get put on the map. So, until then, this is Mike Cook signing off for episode 1, season 2 of the Mike Cook Guys podcast.